The Chicago Bears just unearthed a cannon arm quarterback, and I'd love to talk about it. So, I've been profiling undrafted free agents all week, guys that the Bears have been bringing in. And although we just drafted a franchise quarterback in Caleb Williams, the guy they just brought in is an undrafted free agent. I think he's pretty intriguing. And GM Ryan Poles, he's starting to get a knack for this, right? He brought in our own Tyson Bagent last year. He won some games for us, right? As an undrafted free agent. And the guy I want to talk about this year is Austin Reed, and he's out of Western Kentucky. He's just an interesting quarterback prospect, just a fantastic arm. If you look at this, Reed had 10 pass plays that went for touchdowns from the opponent's 40-yard line or further in both 2022 and 2023. So that's a little intriguing. But before I get into his stats and what he's done on the field, there's a little more to this I want to call attention to. And Lester Wilting over at Windy City Gridiron called attention to this in this story. Once again, Windy City Gridiron, I just think they're the gold standard. I always want to give them credit. So, Caleb Williams, he's super excited about this signing. They are both workout partners in Florida while sharing the same quarterback trainer, Will Hewlett from the QB Collective. It goes further, though. This is the same guy who traded San Francisco quarterback Brock Purdy. And Hewlett, he said something that pricked my ears up a little bit. He thinks that Reed has a similar upside. This was said after he did a good amount of work on his mechanics while he was at the QB Collective. Here's what he had to say, and this is from SI's Core Or. This is a quote. Spin rate is a really good indicator of proper mechanics, and that's Will Hewlett of the QB Collective once again talking. You want guys with a spin rate in the mid 600s, being able to spin it consistently. So before Reed started working with Hewlett, his spin rate was in the mid 500s, but now it's in the mid 600s. It's hitting that benchmark. And that's not a small, insignificant thing. Hewlett contends that this is actually a huge indicator of possible success as a pro quarterback. It's a little under the radar to a casual fan, but spin rate, it's just an important metric to consider when evaluating a prospect. Hewlett, once again, he trained 49ers quarterback Brock Purdy. He says that Reed is this year's version, meaning a late round quarterback who possesses high end potential due to late blossoming mechanics, plus a vast amount of experience. And Reed has that. I believe he's 24. Hewlett also trained the presumptive number one overall pick, and he ended up being so. I'm glad that came to fruition. USC's Caleb Williams. This guy is someone that when he speaks, we should all listen. I'm going to close down this story. Check that story out. You will be glad you did. So as many as 3 to 4 undrafted free agents, I'd say, they're likely to make the team. Polls. He's been cooking. He's been finding after draft talent. And if this assessment of him comes to fruition, if Reed is that guy, we may very well have a new quarterback 2 or QB3. Let's look at Brett Rippon. He's our current QB3. So underwhelming. I just find him personally so underwhelming. I wasn't into the signing, and after watching him struggle and playing time he got last year for the Rams when Stafford went down, if you remember last year, it really bit a lot of people in the butts during fantasy football season when they were desperate for a quarterback option in 2 quarterback leagues. I had to start ripping for a game, and it was so disappointing. For me, it's a no thank you. And I'll get back on target here. But let's go through his career a little bit. The guy is just known for having a cannon for an arm, and he was one of the better air raid style quarterbacks in college football last year. So let's chop this up. Let's read through his bio here. You will find this bio on si.com. Let me get to it here. Thank you. I'm my own producer, so thanks for bearing with me here. So, okay, here we are at the SI column. This is a really good profile. He had kind of a meandering path to get where he's at, so let's go through it. He's from St. Augustine Beach, Florida. He started out at nearby Southern Illinois, but he ended up redshirting. So he ended up going back home, and he caught on at Division II University of West Florida in 2019. Kind of a cool mascot they have. They're the Argonauts. So the Argonauts, in his first year with them, he led them to victory. They won the Division II national championship, and he just balled out that year, throwing for 4,080 yards and get this, 40 touchdowns. I mean, I don't care what division you play in. That's pretty impressive. And after an interesting addition here as well that I want to tell you, in July 2021, he signed the first name, image, and likeness sponsorship in West Florida history. He struck a deal with the Running Wild chain of running stores. It's just a lot of fun digging into. It's a lot of fun getting to know these prospects better. So let's continue. After 2021, he entered the NCAA transfer portal, and he ended up committing in March 2022 to Western Kentucky. He was selected as the team's starting quarterback during summer camp in 2022, and they made the right choice. In his first game at Western Kentucky, he threw 4 touchdown passes in a 38-28 victory. His 4,746 passing yards, that ranked at the top of the nation in 2022. He is no slouch. I mean, this is like a real emerging player. So in total, he started 26 games for the Hilltoppers. He finished his time on the Hill with 8,084 yards, 71 touchdowns on 678 for 1,073 passing. That's a really good throwing percentage. In both years there, he led the Hilltoppers to bowl appearances. He did this all while filling some pretty big shoes, and it was a little bit of pressure. He followed up Bailey Zappi, who's a legend there. Zappi, he broke several NCAA single-season passing records while he was playing at WKU. But in only 2 seasons, Reed, he ended up ranking 2nd in program history in career touchdown passes and 3rd in career passing yards, and that's only in 2 years. And to continue, scouts, they listed his strengths, so let's go through them. I'd say what stands out about Reed is his ability to make accurate and quick passes. His arm strength, it also paves the way for big plays, which are needed at the pro level, right? If Reed does make it through to the Bears roster in the fall, I think he's all likelihood he's going to be backing up number 1 overall pick Caleb Williams, or he could possibly be our QB3. I think he will easily beat out Rippon for at least a number 3 job. As you guys know, I'm not super impressed by him, so I might be biased. So let's go through more strengths, and this is from the scouting report. His ability to play fast-paced football was impressive in college. He ran over 70 plays a game in 2023 and over 75 plays per game in 2022. That's a crazy pace. Not many teams operate at that type of pace in the NFL, but it's nice to be prepared for situations when it's essential, like the 2-minute game. It's going to be hard to rattle him. If he's used to playing at such a frenetic pace, how is he going to get rattled? That might very well help him. A question, will it help slow down the pro game for him? Let's go to the next one. As plenty of other scouts and analysts have noted, his arm strength, it's arguably his best asset. He has, once again, 10 pass plays that went for touchdowns from the opponent's 40-yard line or further in both 2022 and 23. Let's be honest, though, as a runner, it's definitely not his strongest skill, but he's not afraid to pull it down and make the play with his legs. He actually scored 12 rushing touchdowns while at WKU. His frame also, he's got a big frame, helps absorb contact that comes with those types of runs as well. And it's knowing that's the better option. It's knowing when that's the better option. Arguably, that could be improved. But I think he's a really good prospect. There's so much to like about him. He's not overly fast, but he's not super slow. He ran a 4.82 40, a 1.67 10-yard split. I think he's kind of an exciting prospect. He threw for so many yards. He led the nation in passing yards and lots of touchdowns. He throws smart. He plays smart. Not a lot of interceptions, not a lot of turnovers. He's used to running that air raid type offense. And I just think it's another exciting find by our GM Ryan Poles. I'm getting really excited about how he's rounding out this team. And let's see how camp goes for Austin Reed. You guys, thanks for checking out these profiles. It's been a lot of fun. It's fun getting to know some of these prospects, especially when I estimate that as many as 3 or 4 of these guys are going to make the team. So bear down, enjoy the offseason. We are getting closer and closer to camp, and